The number one mistake that is preventing you and keeping you from dating much younger, much hotter women. And that number one mistake, I'm just gonna give it to you, okay? Unlike most YouTubers who'll like make you wait until the end of the coaching video, I'm just gonna tell you what it is so we can discuss it in tonight's coaching video. The mistake that you guys are making, you guys who can't date women who are younger than you by even just 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. The reason why you can't pull it off is because you look at your own age as a disadvantage versus an advantage. Okay, so let me explain. With every single guy that I've coached that has been insecure about even just approaching a younger woman, some of these chicks are not even that much younger. They're like 8, 9, 10 years younger than them. They get insecure about it, right? They get insecure. I mean, God forbid if the girl's like 15, 20 years younger, they get really insecure about it. And they're like, no, I don't want to be that creepy old guy. I don't want to be the creepy old guy in the club approaching girl, or the creepy old guy at day game approaching the girl. And I'm like, because that's in your head, again, what I teach you guys, law of state transference, because that's what you think, that's how you feel, that is how she's going to feel. Okay, if you're insecure about your age, you are going to project that onto her. And again, this goes back to the mistake that so many of you guys are making that is really keeping you and preventing you from dating younger women. I'm not talking about girls who are just 5 years younger. I'm talking about 10 years younger and more. Okay, 10 years younger and more. You see your age as a disadvantage rather than an advantage, rather than the fact that you have more life experience than her, you're way more financially stable than her, you have way more knowledge than her, way more maturity than her, way more self-awareness than her. Okay? Instead of using the advantages of having a few, being a few years older than her, you look at it as a disadvantage, which just makes no sense to me. It just totally makes no sense to me. Because I approach girls in field all the time that, I mean, at minimum are 10 years younger than me. I mean, minimum. Usually they're about 20 years younger than me, and it's never a problem, right? It's never a problem. I mean, every once in a while, you're always going to have like one or two of these girls are going to be like, oh, way too old for me, way too old for me. And then you just will like walk away with your head down. What you should be doing is turning it around on that girl, because if you were actually confident about your age, you would turn it back on that girl, like I do, like I teach my students to. So the few times, the rare times I'm out there and I'll have a girl say that, usually it's at a venue, at a club, because usually when you're at a venue or a club or any place like that, a crowded place, crowded bar, these girls feel like they have a license to be rude to you. They have permission to be rude to you. So those are the times you'll have some of these younger girls maybe call you out. And sometimes you're only like 5, not even 10 years older than the girl. She'll still call you out. Like, hey, too old for me, da-da-da. And again, this is where you always want to turn it on the girl, and rightfully so. Like, I will literally turn it on the girl like, oh, okay, I didn't know you're that immature. I only date girls, I only date girls who are mature. And obviously you're too immature at your age. You're kind of like a baby. And girls are, what? I'm not a baby. Sure, you kind of act like it, right? Obviously you've never dated anybody more than, a year or two older than you. Just keep dating those little boys. Keep dating them, Let them film you having sex with them, and then they'll like share it on social media. You go do that. Go be with those little boys, right? And then just kind of laugh. And they're like, wait, no, that's not true, right? And then you turn it around, you make them qualify themselves to you. But that is something you can only do when you come from the frame where, in your mind, your age is an advantage rather than a disadvantage when it comes to dating, attracting, meeting younger women. You have to stop looking at your age as a disadvantage. Like, oh gosh, I'm so much older. Ooh, you weren't even born yet when I was doing this. Or, oh my gosh, you could be my daughter. It's crazy. Stop thinking that way. Okay? Stop thinking that way. Instead, look at her as a peer. Okay? Look at her as a peer and treat her as a peer until she starts acting otherwise, right? If she starts acting like super immature or anything like that, then that's the time to call her out. Okay, you call her out on her stupidity. You take on that role of the father figure or the authority figure. And you should be doing that anyway. Even when I was younger and I was approaching girls who were older than me, when I was like late teens, early 20s, I was still taking on that role of an authority figure, and it worked, right? Girls will naturally just follow your lead when you take the lead. And you have to stop looking at your age as a disadvantage. Even for you guys who are younger, trying to date older women, girls who are a few years older than you, the reason why you fail is because you look at your age as a disadvantage rather than an advantage. Because when it comes to older women wanting to date younger guys, they look at it as a badge of honor, like, oh, I'm still young, I'm still hot, woohoo, right? Whereas an older guy dating a younger woman, it's just naturally what guys do. It's just naturally what guys do, and naturally younger women do like to date older guys who are more mature, more sophisticated, and they expect you to act that way too. The last thing you want to do when you're, trying to meet, date, and attract younger women is not act your age. Instead, you try to act like some, 40-year-old skater boy or 39-year-old surfer or something like that. Instead, just act your age, right? Doesn't mean you can't be cool, you can't be hip, but you don't need to, listen to the same music. You don't need to watch the same movies. I mean, that's part of the yin and yang of dating a younger woman that she finds attractive, is the fact that you kind of have more of an eclectic taste that she's not aware of. You have movies from your generation, music that you can share with her, right? Like, I was dating a 19-year-old girl, and she didn't know who like Motley Crue was. And I'm like, how do you? She's like, I kind of heard of them. I'm like, oh my God, we're listening to Motley Crue today. We're listening to the Crew today. And she was like, okay. And then I played. She was like, oh my God, this is so good. She's like, do you have any more of these? And it was like music to her ears, because she's used to that garbage that kids are listening to today, right? Those kids are listening to songs that have that, they call it like the millennial whoop. I think that's what they call it. Like, most songs today have this millennial whoop in it that's just so like super annoying. And most songs today sound the same. Even like most rap songs, they sound the same. So like the 19-year-old girl I was dating, I played like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, played some old school hip hop, some Run DMC. She had never heard of this. She's like, oh my God, this is like really good. And there's like, there's like arcs to these songs, and now these songs today are just like flat. And I'm like, I know. Do you notice the difference? That's a cool thing when you date somebody who's like from a different generation. You could share things with each other, and then you could get their perspective too, right? Assuming you don't have kids her age, you could kind of get her perspective too and go, oh, okay, this is why you guys do all this dumb shit, right? And I'll say things like that too. I'm like, that makes sense why you got your whole generation is like idiotic. Oh, you just don't get it. You're out of touch, so it's kind of fun, when you date a younger woman. But under no circumstance do you ever look at your age as a disadvantage or something to be insecure about or something to hide, something to be shy about. At the end of the day, it's just age, right? You're just trying to relate to the other person. I mean, I've met a lot of girls who are younger, like especially the younger girls I've dated, because sometimes I get hate from some of the girls on the social media, like, oh my God, she's just a baby, da 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 da. And it's like, dude, she's way more mature than you are, right? Way more mature than you are. I was dating this girl from UCLA who was studying to be a doctor. She was like 20. Yeah, she was like 20, 21. She was going to like med school there at UCLA. And I remember I had a couple of girls that were in their 40s trying to call me out, like, oh my gosh, such a dirty old man. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she's like super mature. She's way more mature than you. She could run circles around you. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you have like the mentality of a 5-year-old and you're trying to call her immature. So really, it's just about the person and connecting with the person. I don't really look at the person's age until they give me a reason to. So if I approach a young girl, I know she's young and she's obviously not going to be as mature, but what I'm looking for in her is that she can hold a conversation and she's kind of like well put together, right? And a lot of girls, surprisingly, and by the time they're in their late teens and early 20s, if they are mentally mature, you could tell that they're almost kind of like old souls, if that makes sense, right? It's almost like they've lived several lifetimes. Whereas I feel like I'm kind of like a I kind of feel like this is my first go around at life, or maybe only my second, because I kind of still feel like pretty youthful as far as like my energy and my thought process goes. But I've met a lot of girls who I feel like, man, these chicks are like old ladies and they're only like 19 or 20 years old. I'm like, you sound like an old lady. So it's more about connecting with a person beyond their age. Age doesn't even, like I said, it doesn't even become a factor until that person starts acting their age, or kind of like the stereotype of what that, you know, their age would be, like a stereotypical 18-year-old just acting immature, fresh out of high school, and just saying dumb shit, acting stupid, having like a complete lack of self-awareness. Whereas most of the girls that I've dated that have been younger, much younger than me, have had a high degree of self-awareness, and they've been pretty mature. It's like, yeah, from time to time they'll kind of act, they'll pretty much for the most part act their age, but most times you could see a lot of sophistication in them. That's very impressive. It's very feminine too. One thing I've noticed is girls who are much younger are, it's almost like, let me put it this way, the younger they are, the more feminine they are. As they grow older, the more masculine they become. It's Gizmo snorting. That means he agrees. But yeah, the younger she is, you'll notice the more feminine she is. And as she grows older, the more masculine she becomes, right? And that's just because a lot of these girls today are surrounded by complete pussies, right? They're surrounded by complete blue pill betas out there that have been completely feminized. And she's surrounded by these guys 24/7. You know, after so many years, she just becomes more masculine. A lot of these females end up adopting the masculine because so many guys are adopting the feminine, right? But not to go into another video topic. But in any case, that is the big mistake you're making. If you're failing to date younger women right now, if you're failing to attract them, if you feel insecure about talking to them and you feel like a creepo just having a conversation with them, that is why. It's because you don't look at your age as an advantage. Instead, you look at it as a disadvantage. And you know what? You need to stop doing that. Because if you're an older guy, like I said, you have your shit together financially, mentally, spiritually, physically, use it. Stop suppressing it. Use it, because when you embrace it, she will embrace it. When you find it attractive, she will find it attractive. Law of state transference. Law of state transference. So let me know what you think. Drop some comments below. And until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets signing out. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Go ahead and smash it right now. Also, hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe. Okay, it helps me out a ton, especially with the YouTube algorithm when you guys are subscribed to my channel. So please make sure you're subscribed. Also share it with other like-minded friends of yours. And for you guys who want to support my work and all of this red pill, gold pill, platinum pill, diamond pill content I'm teaching guys even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I'm teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I'm talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s, same exact type of women that myself and all of my coaching students all around the world are approaching and closing every single week. And I kid you not, every single week we are doing this in all 4 corners of the globe, regardless of any lockdowns, shutdowns, racial division. We are continuing to live our lives and approach and close the hottest, youngest, most beautiful looking women on the planet. Again, 8s, 9s, and 10s, same exact type of women that I teach you how to go out there and approach and close. So if you want to support my work and you want to learn how to approach and close the hottest, youngest, most beautiful looking women on the planet yourself, then you need to jump in to my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months of Mastery. And right now it's only $1, right? It's only $1. Still only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons. So please take advantage of it, okay? Take advantage of it and learn how to do it yourself, okay? Real easy to get signed up. All you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. Just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video.